today na the program Radio Democracy go look inside the fuel issue after we government reduce the price from 22 leons to 20 leons this PNTM. Well, now the studio for can look at this. I want for welcome a studio guest them. Firstly, we get Imran Sila from the Strategic Communications Unit at the Ministry of Information and Communication. Good morning and welcome to the program, Imran.
Plenty, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Family on the morning.
And also we get Marcus Bangruan at the studio this morning, in the founder and executive director for Citizens Forum for Democratic Accountability. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning and thanks for hosting me.
All right, well, I don't already tell you sitting at the program we can talk about how government will reduce the fuel price with the hearing from the representative from the Strategic Communications Unit, when Imran Sila, for can tell listeners them how government reached to the reduction of that price they and even the monitor for ensure see people and they sell the fuel the way how they're supposed for sell them. And also we get Marcus Bangrawa to introduce just now from the Citizens Forum for Democratic Accountability. Then they've got a position where them police BNTM regarding the fuel price where government reduce. Also I then believe say the cuts where government make is small and they not go benefit in consumer them. Well, you go for can talk them points them why they think say that particular reason they not in position as to the reduction we government do. But let me go to Imran Sila because we see on the 18th of July, government through the Ministry of Finance together with the PRA, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and the oil marketing companies them being pull a press release. Also then say effective 18th July, the price for fuel for go down to 20 leons from 22 leons where it been last day. Just start for tell listeners and force. Now also that decision they come out.
Well, a few things don't change slightly. Before this last meeting, they meet every 20 days for determine within the plat system look like based on within the international formula when every country they use. But within don't change now that it happen every 2 weeks. So at this last meeting, it happened at the Chief Minister in office, Jacob Jesus Safar, and now they then sit down together, the oil marketers and Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Trade, PRA, and then look at the plat formula. So one of the things that we've always done is say when we come to fuel business, now that it's a moving average of plus or minus 5. So whenever I go plus 5, then it means the price they go up. Whenever I go minus 5, then it means the price gets for candon. And in this particular instance, it don't candon to minus 5. And therefore, they may make that determination day from 22 to 20. And so now that make a government announce. So we think if happen that in the next 2 weeks, there also get for be another review. But then that not they suggest anything. It only means say that review they go happen in another 2 weeks. We're not going to make that determination day as to whether price they go up or they cannot, because I remember say plenty time where we don't get the opportunity for talk about petrol business. One of the things that we don't say lately, now the fact that uncertainty they in the markets, yeah, and because of the uncertainty, then nobody capable for give any cast iron guarantees as to within the next 2 weeks go look like, within the next 4 weeks go look like, within the next 6 weeks go look like. The one and they get for be determined by other global factors. But within we they do in terms of the calculation, now like a moving average, right, of the last 15 days, the last 2 weeks, that is what is going to be taken into consideration. So in the next 2 weeks when they meet back, they also get for look at the moving average over that period.
Now, before we go to that next week or 2 weeks review, make a look at this price we go down from 22 leons to 20 leons. Our government and partners them arrive at the conclusion for such reduction.
So I mean, as I say just now, there is a calculation plus or minus 5. Before they come to this arrangement and agreement for the meet every 2 weeks, what mean they happen where they do every 20 days is that if it don't change, the plats don't change, say plus 5, before then they meet in that 20 days, then it means either the oil marketers or government one panel for take the loss, yeah, and bear the consequence. So now that then they meet every 2 weeks, it means sufficiently enough then capable for determine the moving average and make the determination there. But you question specifically now that now the Platts formula now they determine whether price they change down or whether price they change for go up. And that same system they then use in this particular instance.
So the same system where you dey refer to, well, we don't know the system where other countries then they use, but just like how my co-presenter asked you just now, waiting, the oil marketing companies together with governments can look at for ensure so within they reduce, then they within the range. As it is currently, Salon at the sub-region, we seem to get the highest when you look at the trend. So now that make Musa be asked earlier, waiting they look at for less Salon agree say now 20 loans they feel for the at this time.
It also
Una can take into consideration also the range at which the sub-region they.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, interestingly enough, I've been getting a conversation with a friend. We don't spend about 20 years in the petroleum sector, so he understands I'm back and front. And he said to me a few things what I already know, but just so for re-emphasize the point. Number one, that then, I mean, when they do determine the price of fuel, there's something called harmonization. So you look at the sub-region and also see within the various prices then look like. But let's also not forget, and to your question, Mabel, now the fact that every country get your own pricing formula. So I think say it could also be interesting for throwing into the conversation within their own pricing formula look like in terms of the taxes and all that and the way then they take. That is what makes their own determination. For we know say, right, we look at the price, I mean the market price, I mean at the sub-region, number one. Number two, it's also important for no, and this is not something we don't say several times before, that from 2020 to now, government don't lost about 516 billion, where otherwise we don't go per revenue. Thirdly, government don't also make sure, say, over this period, right, and going forward for the foreseeable future, we don't make sure, say, we don't provide the necessary foreign exchange to the oil importers. Them. So the amount now we talk about is about $84 million. Now don't provide it to them so that they go before buy them product and bring and kind of.
We get for look at the pricing. We get for look at the forex, foreign exchange to the oil marketing companies, and also the subsidy way they talk about. But my colleague earlier asked about how Salon put their own formula way, for instance, get still the highest or they sell fuel the highest now the sub-region when it take the Mano River Union Basin to instance, and how countries like Guinea will maintain 12,000 franc Guinea for the past almost months, where Salon don't go up and can do again.
So again, I think say I go re-echo some of the points that I don't make just now. Number one, I mean when we determine price, in as much as now the plat system get for make that determination there, right, plus or minus 5, either way, they determine whether the price they go up or they can down. We also do harmonization, so we look at the sub-region and see what the price they look like. I can also confirm to you and the one that they listen to this program say, Liberia not don't change price. I mean, I can't necessarily say for Guinea, right? But then to the point where I make earlier, and I go record that same point there again, I think say it's important for also know within the pricing formula, with how much tax then they derive from their own pricing formula, and whether they in fact even derive any tax from their own pricing formula right now. Within making say for sure, right now within I know say the happiness alone. Number one, I know say government they lose out in terms of revenue, right? Big time, right? From 2020 to now, so I don't say it's about 516 billion. Number two, I know say government they also provide the necessary foreign exchange for the oil importers. And so look, by and large, I think say we have a liberal and transparent system, right, where we don't say for be reviewed every 2 weeks now, right, for make that determination. And at the moving average is 9 will be the calculation, right, for make that determination in the next 2 weeks.
More from government side, we go come to you, Imran Silla from the Strategic Communications Unit, Minister of Information and Communication. They are the talk on as government representative on the fuel issue. Continue for the with me inside the program. Good morning, Salon 7:54. Now the time from we see the control clock.
All right, the program Good Morning Salon, they continue with Salon. We get to that studio guest. We are the founder and executive director for the Citizens Forum for Democratic Accountability. We are Marcus Bangura. Good morning once more. Welcome to the program. Good Morning Salon.
Good morning.
We don't listen to waiting Imran Silla don't talk just now from government Angola, so how they reach to the decision says Salon fuel because the world market price don't go down a bit. Salon fuel for come out from 22 leons to 20 leons from the 18th of July, where na still the run through now, and it's setting go review after 2 weeks, but not go determine whether or not waiting go get for come out from that review. But from the Citizens Forum for Democratic Accountability, we see immediately when government been pull up press release for tell the public say they don't reduce the fuel price because they don't go down at the world market. Una self been get a position where una you should just start for share with the listeners and viewers of Facebook. Waiting at the position where una make immediately where government reduce the fuel.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invite. Of course, Citizens Forum for Democratic Accountability don't they follow the price of fuel nationally and internationally for make we know which actually they go on. Because in March, we put a press release where this fuel business begin go up to an extent that we cause huge lot of suffering to several Sierra Leoneans because of the importance of fuel, because a commodity where once it affected, it gets ripple effect in all other things that are the country. So as a result of that, immediately government pulled a press release through the Petroleum Regulatory Agency. We decided to say, okay, this thing, we sit down, we get meeting, and say, this thing not fair enough. It is totally wrong, because the money where they pull, it don't reflect the international market. And you will agree with me, say, for the past 5 months, the Petroleum Regulatory Agency done the pull press release for inform Sierra Leoneans about the price increments. And most times, then they tag them to the international market of oil. So as a result of that, where the fuel price can down, it can down drastically, as a matter of fact, because the fuel price will almost there around $135 for barrel. And now, as I talk, the fuel price is about 98 or 99 cents, right? Well, I mean, 98 to $99 per barrel. So if you look at the difference, you know, it's been very necessary for government for actually cut down on the price of fuel in a way meaningful. But we say the way they cut the price of fuel is very minimal. You know, Sierra Leoneans are the benefit out of it.
Now, whose price do I expect?
We expect a price between 12 to 15,000 leones. Between 12 to 15,000 leones.
Because I want to do calculation for
yes, we do calculation. In the first place, we look at the sub-region, right? Because the price for fuel is not different from one country to the other. It is the same price. As far as your country they go buy, they're the same price. Now, if you look at the sub-region, right, as before the 18th, we've been a sell fuel 22 leones, so 22,000, we equivalent to $1.62. Guinea, they sell fuel at 12,000 francs, we equivalent to 18,000 leones, we now about $1.35. Liberia, they sell fuel at I don't call it Liberian money, but it's 500 and something, the cash. We equivalent to about 17,500 leones, with about $1.29. Then Ivory Coast, they sell fuel at Ivory Coast, they sell fuel at 15,000 leones, we equivalent to about $1.12. So when you look at that, you ask yourself the question, why is Sierra Leone fuel not come down? But one thing we have to take into consideration is the fact that they don't put the price down at all, right? But this, I talk about months when the price remains so. Why Sierra Leone price for months or even weeks been over, when about 22,000 leones. So as a result, there is a vast gap between Sierra Leone and the other countries.
Now, giving comparative analysis of fuel price in the Mano River Union Basin, now we look at Salone, initially been the 10,000 leones, we na the old leones are the calculator mean, go to 15,000, go 18,000, go 22,000, now it don't go 20 leones, no, we na the new leones. This all happened within 2 to 3 months. What exactly they happen at the market according to una study where they lead to this fluctuation?
I would draw my analysis from most, or make I say all the the press releases and we the Petroleum Regulatory Agency pool. One of the arguments we they raise and we get some amount of facts. Now that's fuel price at the international market increased as a result of the Ukrainian-Russian war, right? So, and of course, at that particular time, fuel business be uncertain. You know, it had for determine because of the crisis. But quite recently, we see where the American president moved to Saudi Arabia, and immediately we left Saudi Arabia camp, we see fuel flow at the world. So as a result of that, the price came down. And from that particular period, the price don't consistently come down. And what's surprising and actually shocking that the fact say, Guinea, as you give reference, don't remain 12,000 francs, right? And at that particular time, with dollar, and we own money, right, was about 14,000 euros. So this weakness of we loan, a major factor, we don't actually contribute to them demise there as they take place.
I come over to Imran Silla from the Strategic Communications Unit. We don't listen to Marcos. We don't begin make the points of the institution when are the Citizens Forum for Democratic Accountability. According to them, we then do their own calculations, then believe say because of the way how the price drop now the international markets, then they expect say we government to do the reduction of the fuel if it come down to 12,000 leons. And you don't make earlier the explanation as to how government reach at this. And when you look at the global petrol price, it clear says alone higher than the sub-region in terms of cost where people buy the fuel. And you don't make points, but the formula where you say governments know where other countries them they use. But when you look at where the petrol price they come down at the international markets, you know they come down and watch by country, they come down drastically. So waiting at this reason, we make it come down drastically. Other countries than at the Mano River Union, they're able to get the price lower than Salone, where we still get the highest in the sub-region.
So, first of all, I think it's important for Lewi know say the drop in petroleum products na the international market, it can down by 7%. Yeah, and we Salone don't reduce we own by 9%. And to your question specifically, I just give an average of 13 countries then. We include Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Liberia, Nigeria, and other countries them outside West Africa. Yeah. So Gambia then price, and this is at 18th July 2022. So you talk about the most recent data were available on within petroleum prices they look like. Yeah?
Now from whose sites you get that from?
So at the camp, largest donor. Yeah. Gambia, na 22, yeah, diesel na 20. Ghana 19, petrol, diesel 22. Guinea 19, petrol, diesel 19.
19
right, in terms of the equivalent in leons.
12,
in
12.
the new leons now they talk about, yeah. Liberia na 22 for petrol, diesel na 26. Malawi na 26 and 25. Mauritius 21, and then there's omission for then the price for diesel. Morocco na 23.21. Nigeria petrol there's an omission, but then na 21 for diesel. Seychelles na 23 and 24. Sierra Leone na 20 and 20. Yeah, South Africa na 20 and 21. Zimbabwe na 27 and 22. So the point was.
So somebody going to ask why the comparison to countries outside the Mano River Union basis, for example, for instance, because if Salone and Guinea get the same pricing, or that go get direct impact on trade between the two countries, then why the example outside the Mano River Union basin?
So it is
Liberia and Guinea, for instance, or Ivory Coast.
So it is more than within you suggest. I mean, we are members of which you could call the Mano River Basin, right? But then also the sub-region, right? West Africa, which they belong beyond this Mano River Basin. We talk about number one. Number two, I think it gives you a sense as to within the average look like, right, across the continent. I think say down then at the point where I really want to make not necessarily the differences in terms of the price, right? But then if you watch of all them countries there where I don't get within a price look like, you could see say we own sort of reasonably better. Number one, number two, right? I mean all the within which you could call the ballpark figure, yeah, in terms of within some of the averages, and they look like some of the higher, right? Some of them they just about within we all look like now. But then the point where they try for make, I think I don't make this point earlier, and the fact that right every country get your own pricing formula, so you can see them slight variations. Then right? But we they go by one pricing formula, and we they make sure say, as a government, we don't lose out in terms of taxes, and we
No,
will continue
we-
do so for get the stability that we will need in this country.
Let me look
on-
at
on
Guinea,
price.
we then fuel na 12,000 franc Guinea, and you give another price for Guinea. How we come out and arrive at that conclusion? Say Guinea na 19, then fuel equivalent to 19 leons.
Well, I can similarly ask you how you arrive at your own conclusion.
For
Because
say
that's
fuel,
what
I've
we
been,
ask
I've been,
whose
I dey
side,
gi- I've
because
been there
from the
Guinea
global
recently. I buy
petroleum
fuel
prices,
the
When
12,000
when me
Standard
get
one.
right in front of me, Naya, the
Standard
last
one.
time,
I said you use.
now in some government official and be even the quotes from where Salon no been the Nada range outside now. This same global petroleum price, where like 9 day for the whole world, they indicate say poor countries them where I believe say na like Salon fuel for the dung compared to other countries them now the world where they compare them to so now.
So I think say again, when you Google and search, as just is probably certain that you get your own.
No, I fuel for Guinea. I no Google.
You know Google, you know search. Okay.
Yes,
Right. So which thing I think say make you always do.
I buy am 12,000 franc.
Okay. So which me thing say make you always do, right? Is that whenever I get them figures there, I'd always cross check out PRA because not forget say. I say there's harmonization. So whenever we did do we own pricing formula in a year and then they arrive at a price, yeah, there's also a consideration as to within the happen at the sub-region, within the happen at West Africa, within the happen at the continent. PRA, when then they regulate, very obsessed about them thing in there. So if you check PRA from time to time, the way it sound like you just come on Guinea, and so that make you say you buy them. But then me they always reference PRA because I know say their responsibility. Right, that also foresee within the happen at the sub-region, right, and make them
So now
considerations.
PRA give
they
them
always
figures
they
and they
provide
will
them
talk
data, then they-
about
Oh, absolutely.
produce now.
They're not
So-
public knowledge.
So
Anybody can access them.
government also aware of the figures them within at the global petrol price.
I think say it is all of those considerations that is what we have in the 13 countries that we don't highlight. So you might be referencing something different. I'm more than happy for reference. I look at content business this. I'm more than happy for reference PRA in terms of written and they produce, right? And also supposed for go by them
So-
because I trust them. I trust written and they do. I don't ever get reason for doubt any of the data where they don't put out, and I will stick to the
So
data.
me concern
right now
and
regards to the
we
averages.
me concern na that if PRA say fuel for Guinea for instance na 19 leons ending the sell and 12,000 franc Guinea we it don't remain there for the past 2 to 3 months now for more than move from 10,000 franc Guinea. I want to know like exactly how PRA arrive at the conclusion and the calculation we they use 12,000 franc Guinea for say na 19 millions.
So I think say by the fact that the way you ask the question is suggesting not to me for answer because you say you want to know how PRA.
Because
yeah?
they use
So
PRA
it will be
data
useful,
and
it will be
we
useful.
they use PRA data.
I can come back to you on that specific information there because I don't think say I'm direct and to. I use PRA data, right? And I think say it is a data we have used several times in the past. I don't get any reason not for one for use their data, right? Because themselves also get a responsibility, right? As then they go about for make sure they regulate
Somebody-
the industry again for they in consonant with the Malo River Basin, the sub-region, and also the continent.
Somebody go say if they use the data, if we're able to interpret that data they adequately.
you suppose for able for if now you actually which you could like say put the data together. But if you also they rely and they reference an institution where they do data, yeah, then and you know say then trustworthy. Except if you want for say in this particular instance you did doubt the data will PRA the pool. But me and I should say plenty people that they listen to this program not ever get any reason for doubt PRA the data, and so I would think say I will stick by the
Alright,
data in the way they
Imam.
provide.
Quickly, we dey take commercial break, but you want for confirm say or government aware say Salon na we dey sell fuel the highest where you compare them to countries them na the sub-region.
So here's the point again. I think say you'd encourage me for repeats some of the things that I don't say. Number one, I think say every country get in which you could call
But
pricing
you
formula.
let me just ask government aware say now we get the highest.
No.
Whatever formula other countries they use compared to Salonian, we are the highest.
I just don't also give you right, which you could like say an average, right, of 13 countries them, right, both now West Africa, but then also the continent. And I think say you will see the averages. I mean, if you for put them together, for sure say Salon they are thereabout in terms of the prices. Other countries then they would even pass we, because
Now the sub-region,
again,
too.
it can't done to
Not other
pricing
countries,
formula.
because other countries in the world,
But-
they
but-
compare
but-
them richer countries to poor countries like Salon.
Bottom line is, right, there are several variations from country to country. We'll get for acknowledge that day. Number two, I think, say, this government do the best it able for do for make sure so we keep pump price at a certain price, right, providing
Right.
accessibility and availability to product, and also make sure so we didn't lose out in terms of revenue, right? 10 points and they cannot be overemphasized, and I'll continue for make them at any given opportunity.
The program is still listening to now. Good morning, Salon, where they can say from 98.1 FM. We still guest them inside the program. Imran Silla from the Strategic Communications Unit, Ministry of Information and Communication, and also Marcus Bangura, Civil Society Rep. They represent the Citizens Forum for Democratic Accountability, who therefore talk about the fuel price and the impact on the citizens. Them we don't get from Imran Silla. I can't with other studio guest, Marcus Bangura. We talk about pricing formula, Naya, and from data people don't show or who don't get show say Salon gets the highest or they sell fuel the highest na the Mano River Union Basin. And Mr. Silla keep on talking about pricing formula. What do you think say Salon need for do for get in level term with other countries there na the Mano River Union Basin in terms of pricing?
Yeah, and before say something about that, I just want to say that the Petroleum Regulatory Agency don't lie to the people of this country. We cannot go and blame Imran in as much as we're trying to do the research, right? It is cite exactly the information where the Petroleum Regulatory...
No, Mr. Marcus, I don't want for make you refer to PRA in this situation. You refer to Imran because he read out the information.
No, now Imran, I read them out. I make us see, I don't use the word blame because
I'll get it right
because not to Imran do the research. But he gets an issue
for this
because
situation,
he cross-checker.
for this situation,
Yes.
I want only and solely if there is any blame, you blame Imran because he didn't do
So
any
in that respect,
because
I dey blame Imran very, very seriously because of the fact that Imran for don't cross-check in as much as is a very, very outspoken somebody, somebody who I get a reservoir of respect for. You know, but this particular data we present also is very, very misleading, fictitious, right? Because of the fact that it totally and completely, you know, opposite to which actually happened. Because the global petroleum price, right, we are the most recognized now immediate use. And always I say that as at yesterday, as at today, understand? Because even to this morning before they come, right? I get for look at them because the price they keep changing, right? So Sierra Leone, they sell the most expensive fuel. Now the sub-region, besides the examples that we give about Mano River Union, I look at the geopolitics, right? So that make I decide for look at the Mano River Union. But when you look at beyond, we feel very, very expensive. I mentioned earlier, say even where the countries also not even reduce them prices. Right? But for the past months, the statistics we give in terms of the sale, now that's them in on the sale up to this particular period. The reason for this fuel business, one, now we get several factors then, right? You look at the forex in the first place. We money is so weak that the bank governor don't actually play that kind of role for make we able for meet changing times, or even when we get a new loan, we loan need to appreciate the dollar rather than depreciate to the dollar. We're very, very bad for the country. Then you look at the number of tax system, right? We involve. Ibrahim the talks in the first place, they meet to the chief minister, and that's they look at 5%. 5% down or 5% up if they're within that range. That by itself is disingenuous to the people of this country. Because if the government itself decide for just take 5%, you don't look at the international markets, where now be the yardstick barometer, where they only use over the years, right? Or the few months, they can say the past 5 months, since March, where they use for increase the fuel at this country also. If the fuel come down, then turn blind eyes and deaf ears into the international price. And yet they only take 5%. It means, it's not really good for this country.
So what do you think is missing from the formula where government use?
The pathway government they use in the first place, now a benchmark, right? We talk about Platts. now international benchmark where every country for adapt to. But if you look at the data, you look at everything, you find out, say, look at the data set for them, we them present. You understand? Means say, they need to tell you the truth, right? And even where Imran talks, say, the governments don't spend billions or millions of dollars or billions of loans, right? Even that's questionable. Because how really would you realize, I imagine, now the 2,000 loans, or the 2 loans, now 15 cents of American dollar. You understand? Now 15 cents, only then they reduce. You can't just remove 15 cents, right? Now, if we go back to previous, last year before 2018, and one time where this country been gets, or where the world been gets highest fuel, up to $135, right? Around 2010 and 2011, right? Fuel been go up to that particular period. But if we reflect, which will be the price, right? It not be even reach 7,000 at that particular time. But now we get fuel price going up to $135. That is before 1 week, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, right? But yet we feel they to the highest peak. So what the government for do in the first place? They get to say call harmonization, right? Wherein the government for don't call all the one that way they benefit from the fuel. Then sit down at table, then discuss and decide for cut down on the various taxes that we involve. Because it gets a lot of taxes. It gets levies that we so high.
Now, just last week, we been get the Minister of Trade. They talk about the sacrifice we government don't make for ensure say fuel price reduce na salon. They talk about some of the taxes them we governments don't forgo for ensure say fuel cheap na salon. For Muna own studies, what now some of them taxes we don't feel say government don't forgo for ensure say fuel price go down na salon.
Governments, they make money out of the fuel.
How?
Every liter.
How?
You understand? You get, for example, you get the road maintenance fund, right? Where they extract money from, right? You also get the petroleum fund, where they extract a particular amount of money from. You understand? You also get storage, right? You go to the call the economic price. Understand, of fuel, right? We include the landing cost, right? And also we then take them from the landing area, right? We mean say all these things, now various tax. Now if you look at the price difference now, like the sub-region, right? Or let me say like the Mano River Union. If you look at the price difference, one way for taking into consideration the fact say, the taxes there as alone, right? You know, it's too exorbitant and then too plenty. Then half cents within the cut, not applicable in other countries then. You understand? Let's not get taxed. I'm not saying they are not having taxes, right? But it's not applicable in most of them countries then they. And until government cut down on the tax. But for make a Minister of Trade or a government official come and talk say we subsidize, you know, we sacrifice. If the government is sacrifice, it reflects on the people. You see?
So, for you not agree say government is sacrifice?
No, government is not sacrificing. Government is sacrifice. The government is sacrifice, I tell you, the fuel for they around 10,000 leons or 10 leons if government is sacrificed. But let's look at the price system. I don't actually display or outline the variation of the prices and the
some of them taxes the way you mentioned. So the Minister of Trade will tell you say then taxes are not to government pocket they come.
The taxes. They kind of government pockets. How?
Then go tell you say service like freight rates and go tell you say to service provider.
Okay, now make I just tell you something else, right? We get the international price of refined oil and the exchange rate of the dollar. Understand? When you talk about the fuel business as alone, they talk about certain external costs, right? The external cost will include like the world market price, right? The freight charges, storage, demurrage, transfer fees, agency fees, then distribution costs, right? Then from there, you look at the economic price when at the landed cost of the fuel, you understand, plus the landed cost of the fuel. When you look at that, if you look at the average Platts price force all over the world, you understand, and try to forget a difference of that, then you come in a situation wherein the landed cost, you get, for example, distribution cost now, right? You get excise duty. You get other charges you get incurred after fuel has been reached You understand? So you get a lot of these taxes them where government they cut. So as far as government they cut them, I don't talk about the external, you understand, and also the internal. I don't talk about the road maintenance fund, for example, we not get any reason for exist, right?
So then tax here, even when I go through the global petroleum prices, them now then tax here, then say they make
Yes.
certain countries not able to reduce the price to where it's supposed to be. You see that one of the reasons them as well we make we price high in a salon. But waiting at the effect, overall effect where they get where salon fuel high compared to other countries than at the sub-region.
Now, the lack of political will on the side of the government for actually soften the price and make the people of Sierra Leone better. Because if only the price can do. One thing we are saying at the press release, at the fact say, I say the regulatory body, you understand, in respect of the Minister of Finance, Trade, or whosoever the oil companies, therefore take into consideration of the fact say, fuel, like a commodity, once it is affected, it affects every life, every aspect of the lives of the people. Make I say, if fuel price change now, you understand, then bring it to 10,000. Then I will actually be somewhere and talk to yes, government is trying. But this kind of data we government they put, you understand, they make me ask the doc on me ribs, you understand, because there is no iota of fact in it. And government for endeavor, this aspect of fuel, right? Government for endeavor, for example, if President Bio redoubling effort and make sure say this price that come down to 10,000, perhaps there is possibility Saluman they forget quick, you understand, eh? And they usher him in for the next election. I big secrets I talk to, you understand? But this particular price where it is heartening, it's frustrating, you understand? Governments for redoubling efforts. Government will come again and tell you, say, we have spent
So you feel
this.
say the fuel business get any effect on elections result?
They will get. Because the fuel price gets ripple effects in every aspect of the lives of the people of Sierra
Right.
Leone. And people they cry all over the place, the hardship, the difficulties, the challenges, until the fuel price is brought down. Even the issue of the economy, you know, a lot of the government need for pour more money. Because I study about Namibia, you understand? What they did, the government there is plain. What the government do is that the government come and call all the bodies that were involved, where they benefit out of this thing. Put them together and say, this is a crisis. Everything is uncertain. And by virtue of the fact that things are uncertain, let's come together, make we bear, make we lost. But it's not happening here.
The program is still listening to now. Good morning, Saloon, where they come to you from 98.1 FM. Inside the program, we continue to look at more issues, and we go we're gonna PRA. We say as governments don't reduce fuel price from 22 new leons to 20 new leons. The executive chair for the Petroleum Regulatory Agency, Brahma Balowa Kurma, say government get plan for suspend any oil marketing company. We then find out say they sell fuel 22 leons after we governments don't reduce the price to 20 leons. He talk more to Usman Kamara inside this interview.
We still get excess demand for global products versus the output. We don't see at the moment countries like Russia, they have been sanctioned and their output has been capped, limited. So they don't even meet the whooping demand, the global demand for fuel. That has been pushing the price upwards. In fact, we started experiencing this in the last quarter of 2021 because at the moment, globally, the world consumes over 300 billion barrels per annum. So that continues to increase, the demand increase, but we don't even meet the demand. And the supply still far, far below the global demand for fuel. Similarly like in Sierra Leone.
Okay. Recently we see on a pull a statement who say on a change the price of fuel products from 22 leons to 20 leons. Take me through that process there.
Yes, we keenly monitor the petrol prices. We at PRA, we are well equipped. We get a Platts, which is the international reference price. Now, most times, when people actually talk about crude oil don't go down, crude oil don't go this way, some I just smile. Some man holding phone is saying, so crude oil don't go. Crude oil itself is just about 50% the cost of the refined product. So if crude oil don't go down, for instance, 20%, it don't go down by 20%, the refined product proportionately will be far less than that. Because the refined product, you get other inputs them. You got also freight, you get transportation, manufacturing cost, for even brand to the importing countries. And I can always tell people that also, Sierra Leone, we consume crude oil. We dey consume refined product. And crude oil is measured in barrel, and the refined product is measured in metric tons. So that's the difference. So what happened, we find out, we have been monitoring our job, that for level monitor, we will get any management trigger action with the escalator. So we realize, say, the global reduction in oil price was about 6 to 7%. So we said Sierra Leone, we needed to respond accordingly. And, during this challenging period, high cost of the product has been transferred to the end user, these are the consumers. So if we get any minimal benefit also, we need to transfer that to the consumers.
Okay. But people may expect, say, the price of fuel for Kandong pass out the price we on put them. So
the best efforts, they will always look, say, if we don't do better than this. I started off by saying the global oil price dropped marginally from between 6 and 7%. Sierra Leone wouldn't drop the price by 9%. So that is a huge jump for this, as a nation. Then not only that, those people that are telling you that global price don't go this way, they are telling you about crude oil. They are telling you about crude oil by barrel. When they tell you about the refined product, now they don't go remove that crude oil like a potolomo. We don't respond by reducing our pump price to 20 leones. That is where the market is supposed to be. And this government, now a very responsible government, very transparent government, we don't say, we know we have depleted all our petroleum levies. Let us use this money for pay salaries. Let us use it for construct roads or free quality education. But the kind of president we will get is say we have to pass this gain to the people of Australia. And that's the assurance for say, if prices move downwards again, we will shift them downwards.
Okay. After one of them pull a statement, say the price don't come down to 20 leones, concerning the way people engage that during the period, some fuel station and still may sell 22 leones. Now, we are of any concern towards what I just talked about?
No, definitely we get a concern, and we as an agency, we frowned at that kind of a dealership. And this is what happens. In this sector, the petroleum sector, I told you, is a complex sector. Whenever there's an increase in price, somebody loses, somebody gains. When there's a decrease in price, somebody loses, somebody gains. So it's a zero-sum game. You cannot have it both ways. If you give him 1 leon today, somebody lost 1 leon. So there was a time where price for increase, people that buy enough product, they speculate those price increases. They went to the oil marketing companies. They up to 40,000 liters. Somebody get product like a gas station, a full up, they get in tank the back, which is even not acceptable, health and safety wise. They keep on there. So the price increased to 22,000 leons. So if possibly get 40,000 liters, now 60 million don't make straight off. So they were also thinking, because the people are still pushing for 25 leons. They say price can go to 25 leons. So must still they buy.
What think will be the role of the agency if still they know about to return?
What happened yesterday? I'm pretty sure. I want to urge them. Let no one see the canteen. Let that stop, because this bucket is very volatile. That is why we encourage them. They are all operating on a very tight capital at the moment, working capital at the moment. Now that make where you go buy, can sell. In fact, this is a strategy issue. We don't reduce pump price to 20,000 leones. You refuse for sale. We can suspend your license. We can alter your license. We can even deregister you as an operator in this industry. And I'm sure they may not also go to that route.
Well, that's now the executive chair for the Petroleum Regulatory Agency, Brema Balua. They talked to Usman Kamara inside that interview. They say any fuel dealer with them catch, they sell the fuel 22 leones, then they fine or suspend a license after the government will reduce the price to 20 leones. The program na Good Morning Saloon in the country from 98.1 FM.
Well, from the Petroleum Regulatory Agency, and after the government be announced the price will come down to most of the people and working take transportation, because after the announcement they say from the 18th of July this year, the fuel price in Salon go down to 20 leones. The Ministry of Transport and Aviation same also been pull the price list as to waiting people suppose for the pay as the new price for fuel be don't go down. Well, some people are free tongue where they take public transport don't raise concern say then still they pay the old price where they don't they pay after where the Ministry of Transport together with drivers union been don agree say them for don't put the price down by now. Well, the national president for the Motor Drivers Union, Alpha Amadou Ba, don't call on the public not for pay the old price but stick to the new price where governments don't put for transport because fuel price don't go down. They talk this way, they talk about the position we then get for Sika, concern that we don't come from the public after we fuel price don't go down, but some driver them still they use the old price. Princess Spears gets more on this, he go report.
Monday, July 18 this year, notice been come out from the Petroleum Regulatory Agency say pump price for all petroleum products in the country don reduce from 22 leones to 20 leones. But this fuel price reduction now one where the executive director on a native consortium, Edmond Abu Jr. believes say government for reduce and pass this.
Well, firstly, we want to tell the PRA thank you and the government for put on, but we position remain the same. We still believe say for reduce more less than that. We don't can find out say in fact Salon na the Mano River will get the highest, most expensive fuel. What I mean in terms of the price per liter. So, and the fuel price don't go down at the world market by more than about 30%. Now the reduction is too marginal, it's too small, and it gets much impact on the transport price. The thing that happen at the world market, it don't go down. Looking at the figures now, for once, at least from this Russian invasion start, it don't go down below $100 per barrel. So we the thing say the government supposed to put them down to like 17 leones per liter. Position they continue for big the government. The reason being is simple. If you pay transport price for 3,000 leones, where did they reduce it now? So then we'll say okay, we reduce it to like 2,700. But that 2,700 go say some the apprentice or the driver go say no go change. But if you reduce it to like 2,500, and that reduction will only take place arithmetically when you put the fuel price down to like 17,000, 16,000. For we don't think say it makes anything, no much impact. Then supposed to pull more, they cannot to 17 leones.
As you just listen from Edmond Abu Jr., if government reduce the fuel price go down past the 20 leones, it will reflect on transportation price. Anytime fuel pump price go up or they reduce at the country, the Ministry of Transport and Aviation, together with the Motor Drivers Union, can agree on the amount of money where the public for paying a public transport. And with this new change, waiting at some of the new transportation price them. Alpha Amadou Ba, now the national president for the Motor Drivers Union, they explain.
When the price don't go down, we don't go sit down, we don't adjust the transportation cost. Now being 3 leon, almost 4 leons, now 3 leon 30 cents. We come to Hamilton Lumley, now 3 leon 30 cents. We come to Joe bus station, now 5 leon 30 cents. We go to Wilberforce bus station, 3 leon 30 cents. We come to Model, go up FBC, Frobe College, 3 leon 30 cents. We go to Lumley, Boba, 5 leons 30 cents. We go to Mesmes, Eastern Police, 3 leon 30 cents. We come to Joe Lumley, now 12 leon. We get Wellington Eastern Police, 3 leons 30 cents. Waterloo, Bombay, when I be 8,000, now it don't come down to 7 leons 30 cents. Then we come to Regent bus station, now 6 leons. We go to Charlotte Street, Wilberforce, now 4 leons. We get enough coin at this new money.
Asidoyeri from the national president for the Motor Drivers Union on the new transportation fare. Make we listen from the public waiting any pay.
So they are paid from transportation to Duaza Junction to Mount Tikot 5,000. They were ready for return. I pay 7,000 for Mount Tikot to Duaza Junction. Papa government they said still the fuel now 2,000 in Pule. Now for me the fuel can down to 18,000 or 15,000. The transport go the normal price. Like could be they pay 3,000, 4,000.
From Boomer Gate, I pay 6,000 for the Kana Drazak Junction. I tell and thank you, put an about see with the pre go back, put a more down, go with the suffer for travel.
Like we saw the fear not still go down gates because they said the fear don't go 20,000 police bus. Like we all regions per driver, if that fear go down, they put the price down. They say government let the price go down more and more.
Even that price they say wait and say 20,000. If you left to me, I'll let count on to the 10,000 save the fuel, so that we all go able to control the price issue.
They say around IMAT. I pay for car 7,000. Then pin pan we say for pay 7,000 per.
because we understand say fuel price don't go down to 20,000, hoping that they go reduce the price for we. But then still they insist. We know say the transportation price will reduce by 1,000, but then still for pay 7,000. So they ask Papa government, do ya they intervene into this?
With them concern from the public. Now the exact advice this will come out from the national president for the Motor Drivers Union, Alpha Amadou Ban.
Me know the all side. We want the public. Why make the ministry the pull here? Now for make the public know what he get for. What in right. You the public passenger, listen to the radio station, watch the newspapers, you listen to we do ya team map for you right yourself. If that man say go pay 4,000, we not to 4,000, you say not to show government say 3,30,000,000. Look the 3,30,000,000. So God that driver no good now.
With this new change, now the petroleum sector, the public they hope say authority they were concerned go monitor for say this reduction reflects on the public transport sector. With support from Joseph Songa for Radio Democracy, Princess Piasley reports.
You know what in the money? I want kobo now. But the West Ham and the longer tin up and she don't waking then at the bank. Now in the money right now. What in me go do? Ebo, so I no go able for pay for this thing yourself. Welcome to GT Express Service. GT Express Service. Now, who's one this again? This means say we banking made simple 24/7 and 365 days a year. Any site where you see the GT Express point, just go inside. You go meet GT Bank certified agent. We go ready for attend to you with no yagba. With GT Express Service, you go open account, do cash deposit, able for withdraw money, do bill payments like EDSA, check your account balance, and buy airtime like Orange and AfriCell top-up. Avoid the longer line and team up working day at the bank for wait for you your couple. With GT Bank, we banking life change for good. GT Bank, it go better. You bank with we.
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and from that break and the other issue we look at pertaining to the issue of the fuel we don't go down, we come back to the studio guest them. I'll come over to Imran Sila from the Strategic Communications Unit under the Ministry of Information and Communication. We listen to different reports and because when the fuel price come down, now for let the citizen able to get access to them. And for me, government announced say the fuel price don't go to 20 leones, when are the new money we they use now. Concerns don't come from the public saying as much as they don't put the fuel price on and the Ministry of Transport and the partners them don't reduce the cost way be there for transportation, people still pay the new price. Now you come out from the Strategic Communications Unit with under the Ministry of Information and Communication. Now waiting at the monitoring mechanism where they in place for ensure say in as much as the fuel price don't come down, although some people they call more for let go down pass our day, but the transportation price for Kandong, as the ministry do announce. What do they do for monitor?
Well, I think say the Ministry of Transport don't give a new pricing system, not so in terms of transportation from point to point, but then also from Freetown for going to other parts of the country. But then we also look, the Ministry of Transport also the monitor together with Motor Drivers Union and all the one and day. But then we also, and this is a context I can also always like forgive. Which is that 80% of, if not more than 80% of the transport business in this country now private people that own them, no so, and then you always can try for see how they can able for which I would like say take liberties and make some extras, but then we all get a responsibility. So it is not just within government they do how government they monitor. We all where they apply their woods then they frequently from one point to the other, we all get a responsibility for make sure say nobody no milk me in a sense. So I get a responsibility if I come up from Lumley, say they come railway line, you tell me say now this, I say, oh no, I not the pay. I always get the transport way. I mean, go take within, I think say I supposed to be able for pay or supposed for pay from that point to that point. I'll just emphasize that point, make that point. Number one. Second, I just want for piggyback on a few things. I think so we Marcos say. Yeah, in terms of within government, they lost nothing and all of them. I just want to give a breakdown very quickly. In 2020, government lost 66.7 billion leones. Yeah, In 2021, government lost 248.9 billion leones. In 2022, government lost 200.5 billion leones. The aggregates from 2020 to now are 516 billion in terms of within government done loss. Yeah, and another point we also get for note, because I also talk about exchange rates. Yes, we understand, say, this don't be a perennial problem. So before the inception of this government, we'll always know, so we get, which you will call leons as against the dollar and challenge. But with the denomination, I think say this is not the very first time in a very long period, we don't sort of see, well, we go call it stability. Others go interpret it for be say the price don't come down small. Right? Because if we don't claim above 14, now we see say the latest price today is 13.80. Yeah, and then they should say some amount of stability there. To your point, I want to come back to your point very quickly, because I think it's very important. You talk about your experience in Guinea and that you buy at 12,000 francs. Now, as you've been talking down there, I also the message somebody in the central bank, because I also want to know the franc and the exchange rates, not so at Bank of Salon rate, because it's important, because then they will set the context to that 12,000 franc we talk about. So the Guinea price, what I've been given earlier, I was saying at 19, and you ask me, who's that pool? How manager arrive at down there, or how PRA manager arrive at down there. It's important for the family also know that one day. That the Guinean franc is more than the leons, right? It is 1.6, right? 1.6 leons to 1 Guinean franc. Than at the Bank of Salon rate that one day. So the Guinean franc, you say at 12,000, now you've been buying away in the Guinea.
That's what they sell them.
No, I know the dispute down there, right? But at Bank of Salon rate now, if you do the equivalent in leons, then this the argue in terms of the other countries then, right? And also Salon there as against all of the other countries, then they have been given in leons, because we PRA they do the calculation in leons in the currency at the Bank of Salon rate, and then arrive at within at the leon equivalent. So now that they've been seen at that list of them 13 countries then they. So at 12,000 Guinea franc, at 1.6, right, the actual price is about 19.2 leons. Real money, now so, right? So the average Wagide, I mean, if you go back to the list, then the leon equivalent.
We don't want to go into that.
No, necessary.
I'm saying we don't want to go to that. How commercial bank arrive at the own calculation for get exchange rate.
That's another thing altogether.
But you talk about
maybe quick one. Maybe give the Bank of Salon the exchange rate.
Quick one. You talk about the billions of leons with government done the loss. How government done the loss? These billions of leons.
So, the different way they for column. You can call it intervention, you can call it subsidy, you can say within otherwise government supposed for get in terms of revenue, we're supposed to go by within government consider for being priorities them on social services and plenty of that and that is what government done lots. I mean, except if you want question, because you don't question PRA, you just seem for the question Bank of Salon.
Because the 12,000 franc is equivalent to 17,000. So we no go. I don't go argue on.
No.
We don't go forth and back.
This is not from Bank of Salon. I get her now as we talk now.
It's 12,000 franc is equivalent to 17,000 leons.
I like for call people a young man. I mean, not disrespect.
Let me just forget and focus on how government they lost 12 billion.
At Bank of Salon rate, 12,000, it's 1.6 leons. It is 19,000.
So even at that,
so it is 19.2.
Even at that calculation, Wegi, and the equivalent from the Bank of Salon, you agree say Salonian still there pass the sub-region?
So again, I think it come back to some of the points that I make earlier, Mabel, which is if you look at
because if you want for clear say the 12 Guinea, and compared to Salon, where the equivalent in Leons, from the 19,000 where you still they make clear, it still indicates say we feel there pass other countries than the sub-region.
Which I've been trying to do with in point we make earlier now with man called anecdotes, to in 12,000, right, at the Bank of Salon rate and within at the actual way then called in terms of leons. So I just get an
so the bottom line is we don't talk.
As we talk now, so my friend at Bank of Salon actually give me within
the official figure. But still they should say we feel still they are passing.
Low, which you will like say follow puts you point into context. Now look, come back again, Mabel, to your point. I think say important follow we note say in all of them prices that I don't give the equivalent in leons for them 14 countries there. Sierra Leone is there or thereabouts, right, in terms of within the price per litre for petrol and every single one panel country. And you can count amongst them 13 countries that
the reason why we can limit some conversations to the sub-region, now the fact say, we they compare the economy of some of the countries and now we and then at the same level. So if we look at how the economy then at the country, you want for carry go beyond the sub-region where the economy more improved than Salonion, then I wonder how you want for compare them. But if you compare, you want to look at people we want all among the same range where they look at the economy. So Salon is clear say the fuel price, even though you go down at the world market, we still sell dear past other countries them. Not the sub-region, not to say be.
You point to it make fundamentally flawed, yeah?
Not to say
No, it's fundamentally flawed. And no, don't ask me straight question because the very premise is flawed completely.
Now for let people understand.
You premise now flawed, Mabel, and I go tell you to make it flawed. It is wrong to suggest that where you compare Salon in terms of in economic strength, you can only compare our countries and at the sub-region. You have countries in South and Central Africa where you can also compare to in terms of economic strength.
We want to begin first to consider where we near.
It makes a lot
more.
Where
look at the economy at the sub-region.
It makes a lot more sense. There's Guinea in the sub-region, right? It is 19 in Guinea. It is 20 in terms of Leones.
So we're not past there?
The point I'm making is this, right? If you take the average of all the 13 countries that are agree, and that's the point I'm happy to make every single time if you ask me the same question. If you take the average of every single one panel 13 countries, I think Sierra Leone has a reasonable price. Right? And we will continue for review them every 2 weeks. Right. Once we do them every 2 weeks, if the price can down, Marcos when they talk about plus or minus 5, that plus or minus 5 Marcos, which is simply mean the way you do the plat formula. Exactly. If you go plus 5, it means price they go up. If you can minus 5, it means price the candle. One quick point I go like for end on. The Marcos talk about waiting to make President Bio win the next elections. I did do that in 30 seconds. You make a member that there was a publication on Night Watch where it said by fire by thunder President Bio will go in 2023. And then there was a response to Ram in Global Times. By fire by thunder President Bio will win 2020.
So for government,
His Excellency the President would definitely be elected as President of the Republic of Sierra Leone for a second term come the elections in June 24,
you make reference
2023.
To Marcos says, so I just ask for government, and I don't think say the fuel price will get effect so every other commodity will get any effect on how people will get for decide for vote.
Several factors then get for their at play in the elections next year.
And I not take this make nothing.
Several factors then get for their at play, right? And then they also get for how much knowledge and information people then get as against the term for vote with regards to within the issues within the issues they look like, but then also within governments don't do. Now that make at any time, at any given opportunity, at any given moment, we are happy with the record on education, on healthcare, on infrastructural development, on energy, and every single one. And we will continue to make that case to the people of this country, and the people will make that determination. Therefore, elect President Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, for a second term in 2023.
All right, so they come over to Marcos as to wrap up the program. Whose advice you they left with people and way can look at the price formula, because you say our expectation was that the price for them come down to 12,000. So waiting at the advice we they left with government in terms of rethinking, because it's every 2 weeks and therefore they get the meeting them for review. What's the advice?
I get a lot of advice. In the first place, the Bank of Sierra Leone, now the central bank, they regulate the other banks then. So forget information from the central bank, say fuel or the exchange rate is 1.9. The way as a banker 1.6. If forget for realize say we exchange rates or the value of the Guinean franc which we own is completely different. If for that man for not able for equity do so, and for not able for support them or agree with them, provided the value, you understand, of the Guinea franc and the Leone will get not the same. But if you look at the situation, right, 12,000 Guinea franc is just 12,000. Is around 18,000 leones, or even if we say it's 19,000 leones, let's take and say Guinea don't maintain that.
Marcos, are they sending the official bank rates then now? Are they sending you now?
No, listen.
As you
okay, let's say it's the economy go down because Bank of Sierra Leone for sell the dollar to business people at a cheaper rate. And when Bank of Sierra Leone, they ace them up, you understand? It affect the economy. For which even the governor himself, you understand? For just looks about this, make a left this position also. Because if Bank of Salute, when Bank of Salute sell cheaper, The one them we in a street way they buy, you understand them? Then they which is about we look at the situation. And they find out say people then prefer for go buy to them because the Bank of Salone, the cheaper is somebody from the Bank of Salone, they give them kind which is their also. What I want to say is Mabel, right? Fuel price, right? Yeah, we agree with that one, you understand? Fuel price at Salone, you understand? It's been regulated like three components, right? You get external costs, you get taxes and duties and subsidy. If governments they give subsidy, the price they come down. If the government don't give subsidy, the price they go up. And governments are only the strongest view that government has not been subsidizing. All these figures are mere figures, you understand? We get for see it's abstract. One for see concrete, applicable, you understand? And how you applicable? Now by how the people are out there, you understand? The actual the state of their affairs, the conditions, you understand, where they live in, improve. But in this situation, it is completely not correct, and government for endeavor to make sure say they bring the fuel price in comparison to other countries like the sub-region. Otherwise, it's disgraceful and laughable with the price they put just 15 cents of the American dollar. Now in them pool, you understand? With other countries, Guinea, Liberia, other countries, they don't live for months. We not just 2 days.
Many thanks for joining the program this morning. Inemna Marcus Bangra, the founder and executive director for the Citizens Forum for Democratic Accountability, and also we will get Imran Sila from the Strategic Communications Unit at the Ministry of Information and Communication. I had this edition of the program Good Morning Salon Golefona. Plenty thank you to the production team. Alex Lawrence Kuruma produced the program. DJ Lava Kiwi's technical support, and Samuel Hompa make us see live on Facebook. Until then, Mabel Kawade say goodbye.
And Musa Kamade say have a wonderful day.